Hey, Timeshare Trap here. Just wanted to talk to you about experiences I've had with using Timeshare Users Group and posting in there. So it's been a challenging thing to find places to stay in general around this time. It's around right after like a lot of things are opening up after COVID, and there's a lot of people wanting to travel, particularly in Puerto Rico. So Puerto Rico is really been a tourist hub for a lot of folks, I think, because it's like you don't need a passport if you're coming from the mainland USA, but it still feels like a tropical island. And lots of folks speak Spanish, so it's a culture. Feels like you're traveling far outside, but so it leads to a lot of places that are have no occupancy. It's fully booked. So what I try to do is use other folks in the groups and that I thought had a timeshare, and this is where I got scammed. It was a scam of my time, right? But I'll explain more about what happened here. So
like I said, I have online jobs. Basically, like, let's just have a frank conversation because now I wasn't sure who you were, and why you called because I didn't recognize your name. But is that your name? How do you pronounce your name?
My name is Oluwatosin.
Okay, where are you at? You're in Africa, correct?
Yes, I am.
So I'm Ugandan, right? So what country in Africa?
It's Nigeria.
What was in your head that made you want to do what you're doing, to try to get money from people?
I normally I do schedule flights for people, helping reservations, and then but this normally I will book for you, and then
Mm-hmm.
I will do just like an agent, like an agent.
Mm-hmm.
Since lockdown, holidays have been down, so it doesn't work anymore.
Oh, I see. Well, lockdowns, it depends on where you are in the world because lockdowns are in the USA where I'm at. Lockdowns are people are free to travel again. Kind of, I understand where you're coming from and why you're trying to do what you're doing. What I'm trying to do is I have lots of jobs, lots of placements. So I'll give you my company name and stuff. You can look me up online in terms of my company. But I run a very large company, right? So I have lots of opportunity where you can have a job that's a salary where you can afford to take care of your family, right? But I need to understand specifically like what sort of jobs you can do because this is serious. I'm not joking. I'm not trying to scam you or anything. I'm trying to actually help you so that you don't end up hurting other people. You see what I mean?
Yes, I would appreciate
so,
that.
So just be specific to me, or you can tell me like things that you enjoy doing.
Okay, I'm more specialized in interior decorations, making of furniture.
You know, have you heard of woodworking?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's kind of like woodworking.
Yeah, I have a business, and also I love anything IT technology.
Oh, you said IT?
I'm very IT inclined.
Okay.
Yes, very IT inclined.
Well, can you in specific detail? Can you tell me like a project that you worked on? Because the thing is, it'll help me understand better what your skill set is. You see what I mean?
I also help in building development. Like if you have a plan for a building, I can help you from the scratch to give you like a 3D example in my head what the interior will look like. And the space that needs to be provided for the interior furniture decorations. Also, I've helped in supervising a project before. It's like a boutique for male and female. So I changed the total interior finish and I gave it a good outlook after all. So I love craft. Good ideas for furniture and for craft furniture making, and so I have completed so many projects for furniture personally, and also assistive, and also like supervisor, so all that, and I'm also IT inclined. I look for long-term people. I don't want a quick hire where you make just a little bit of money because all it does is just hurt me and it hurts you too, right? Because if you get hired and then fired, it's not helpful for you. I won't do that either. So just I need a long term something. I do understand where you're coming from. I also need a long term, and not just a now. So you can take some time to think, take a deep breath, and just think about things that you've done, because that'll be helpful
for me. So just think back other jobs you've had. So all the things that I do are using mostly digital, like information technology, digital advertising, web development, social media, that sort of thing, but a lot of digital advertising. Like, for example, Google ads, Facebook ads, that sort of stuff. And that's a lot of that is skills that you could learn without having to go to school, right?
Yeah, very true. I can do all that, but we were not given that opportunity here in this part of the world to explore our dreams and what we like to do.
Well,
we're just pushed to study something in school and all. But I always crave to know how to put up adverts on Facebook and help people manage their adverts and then help their business grow. But I really did not get any support to learn all that. But I have some ideas that I learned on my own during the lockdown last year. Some master classes I attended on how to start a campaign, email campaign, and how to follow up quickly with them, and then once in a while reach out to them. So they are all in your email list, and then whenever there's a promo, you can always reach out to them, and you have a large number of people turning in for that particular product. But I needed some more brushing up. So after the master classes, they needed cash, and during the lockdown, there was no jobs were coming in, no furniture jobs. So I just let it pass. But I have ideas on how to. I love IT a lot. I'm very IT inclined. So I also have hands for crafts, furniture design, furnitures that are out of this world, designs, and I know how to use SketchUp, Pad, AutoCAD to an extent. I need some more brushing up. So I am versatile. Anything that can work, I'm sure I can learn. Within a week or two, I should be fine. If I have good tutorials, I can follow up with. And good guide.
You talked about email. Have you ever done email marketing with an autoresponder before?
No. I just did on my own for my company. It didn't really give me much turnout. I just left it. I didn't complete the masterclass, but I know that there's a page that needs to lead to another page where the advert is. But there has to be a catch. Whatever the catch is, will bring so many people's attention to it, and then when they click it, it gives a form, your name, your email, and then you start your email campaign when you have so many emails submitted. So once in a while, you can put up adverts for your company and all. But I don't know the basics.
What's your highest level of schooling?
University.
Okay, so you went to university. All right. Well, that's good. Okay.
Yes.
So does that have anything to do with any sort of work you're doing right now or you've done in the past?
Well, we are not encouraged here. I started with horticulture. I was working with a company, and then there was not good paying. So I left. I went to learn how to make furniture and interior, which is what I do. But since the lockdown, businesses have crumbled, so we're just trying to stabilize anyhow.
But I was just in Nigeria, 6 months ago? All of Nigeria isn't that bad. What city are you in?
Lagos.
Okay, yeah, Lagos is a major city. So it's not that bad. Okay, tell me more about it. How is it?
No support. And when there are grants, the grants are the people to take the grants already know themselves, so it's really difficult. But people are smiling and like it's nothing, but it's really hitting people. I lost all my workers, so I couldn't pay them. So just working alone, I know how to reach out to people. I know how to convince people, but...
Did you make good money doing that, or was it just like a thing that you tried for practice?
I didn't make much, but there were some bonuses, free at the end of the month, about 15,000 naira. Just something small. I had to leave it at some point because it wasn't bringing much.
Just in general, I'm just asking this question because I want to help you. How much money do you need to support your family and make a living on a monthly basis in US dollars?
3,000 or 2,005, and I will still have some to push my business to the next level.
Have you ever spoken with Americans on the phone in a sales conversation?
Yes, sir. I did an intern
Uh-huh.
some time ago. Some time ago, with a friend that lives in the US. He's based there. He's married over there. I did perfectly well. All I need to do is to just listen to the accent, and then I will follow suit with the same accent. I've traveled, so I love to meet people. I love to learn new accents, so it's not a problem for me.
Yeah, as I just look at it now, I have many positions. The easiest thing for me to help you with is a sales role, and you can make 5,000 a month. And so yeah. So you'll need to work a lot less than you do now, right? So that's a better living.
I'm a workaholic, but I don't get jobs to do. I'm a workaholic. I do work around the clock when I have to.
Okay. Well, this one you won't need to work around the clock. You'll just need to work normal business hours. And the point is for you to be able to earn a good living where it's a long-term position where you don't feel like you have to hurt other people to make money, right?
I really appreciate that.
Okay. Like I said, I'd rather help you with a job than you do what you did to other people, right? To do what you were doing, because it doesn't make sense. It's like it's going to hurt a lot of people. For me, it didn't hurt me that much because I could figure it out. But other people, if they were traveling a long time to get there, it would have hurt because every resort around there in Puerto Rico was full. So there's really nowhere to stay. So it could be very bad for somebody. You understand?
I was communicating back and forth with somebody that messaged me after I put a post in the Timeshare users group. And what I did was I was just busy. So I said, hey, I might book this time in this place. And then when it came down to it, I was just too busy and it's easy for me to find other options. But being me, I just wanted to follow through with that person. And when the next opportunity arose itself, I wanted to come back around and just say, hey, if you still have that unit available. And this was a 2-bedroom villa inside of Cocoa Beach Resort, which is not part of the Hyatt properties, but on the Hyatt grounds. So it's in Puerto Rico, and it's about 30 minutes outside of San Juan. And so I was told that there's villas there, and they're part of a timeshare. But and it was very well played out. The person I was dealing with, they had lots of elaborate stories, how they worked in a hospital, and when it came time to actually get the room and figure things out. Luckily, what I did was I actually sent money via PayPal, friends and family. The reason why I did that is because I did book with them last minute. So even though I did that, PayPal still has their process where the person has to claim it, and if the email address has been reported often, or a new email address with PayPal where you send the money, what they do is they actually make it so the person has to claim it, and they give a person, the buyer, an opportunity to actually cancel the payment. So when I got to the resort early, as I did, because I suspected that not everything was going to go smoothly, because I booked last minute with them, but they were perfectly fine with it. And that's one of the reasons why I did the friends and family PayPal. Knowing, I believe that they thought the money was going to go right to a scammer. Let's just call it who they were. They thought that the money was going to go right to their bank account or to their PayPal account, and then they could withdraw it and everything else. But the interesting thing is, because we were on a time crunch, they probably wouldn't even have enough time to withdraw the money from PayPal after they did the scam, so they wouldn't have been able to get the money, and then it would have been a week or two later where they could figure out just how to disappear. So at this point, I'm still communicating with the scammer, and I'm just leveling with them. I'm like, why are you doing this? Just trying to figure out more things, because the amount of work they have to put in for a couple $100, it's just silly. I know in many countries across the world, it may be like a month's wages, or can last them even several months in some places in the world. But there's easier ways to make money, even if they're in these foreign countries, if they have an internet connection, in my opinion, than to do this scam. But either way, communicated with them back and forth. Actually drove to the resort about 5 hours early, just because I was saying, well, if anything, I can find a place to put my bags, and then I can go out and go on about my day and do what I have to do. But what happened is, when I got there and I did my due diligence, went to multiple locations. It's a big property, Cocoa Beach. It's many acres of property. So was able to go to different places, and what finally happened is found out that this place doesn't even exist. There's no 2-bedroom villa timeshares inside of Cocoa Beach. So there's homes, there's things that could be Airbnbs, everything else, but there's nothing to that effect that's gonna where someone can really check in. The only thing here is a Hyatt, and that's where I happen to stay at. Because I was scammed, right? But it was only for a day, and for me, I kind of had some feelings about what was going to happen. So this is why I showed up early. I was able to speak with a manager at the hotel here. So I was in a rather pricey hotel, but either way, it was a great room, had a great night. So it was worth it in terms of the experience. But just so you know, there's a couple red flags that I'm going to bring up that I noticed. The first one was the contract, right? So the contract we did, I did sign a contract with this person. It was just, the contract looked okay because I've never seen one like it, but it still looked legitimate because we had to fill out certain places. The person signed for it. I'll mention the person's name probably in the description or later on, just in case things turn around to protect the guilty or innocent, let's say. But it just wasn't clear and specific, and it was just not how I would perceive it to be. And I've rented timeshares from folks before, just recently even, and there was no contract needed. You just verify the days and send the money, and then they book. And it was a great experience. The other thing was I noticed that when things got when it was crunch time and it was like time to actually go to the room and everything else, this is when the person had the excuses. They said they worked in a hospital in the intensive care unit, and they had a long story. This is why I say there's easier ways to make money, because they were crafting this long story in these emails and talking about, it was a person purported to be a female, and they even brought their husband in it, and they said my husband. Oh, and another thing, what I did was to protect myself was I was going to stay 7 days, but what I did was I said, well, let me stay 3 days and let me see if I like it, right? So that was another way you can protect yourself, kind of as number two, is just the fact that you can just book for a couple days, see if you like it, and then if you don't, give yourself the flexibility to book somewhere else. Wouldn't do it in Puerto Rico, though, because Puerto Rico, it's very tight, but I guess there's always Airbnbs around, and who knows when you're traveling, so the time may free up, and it may be more occupancy. But the other thing was they kept saying they needed payment in order to verify that they were allowing someone to quote-unquote sublet their unit, which isn't required. If you're the owner of the unit, you don't need to provide payment to anybody. You just need to make sure you get paid. So that's another thing, right? Is you get the money, you feel like your money's secure and you have it, then you send the booking information and the reservation confirmation and everything else. You don't need payment. So their excuse was, oh, I need payment to show to the resort so that I can verify that the payment was sent, which doesn't make sense, right? So a red flag right there. The final thing is just the amount of pressure that was put to send the payment. It was, in the beginning, it was kind of lax because I was the one saying, hey, it didn't work out the first time I tried to do this. Our schedules didn't align, but let's do it the second time. And they were pretty cool about things. And one thing I noticed is they gave me a phone number. I didn't call the phone number because I didn't feel there would be a need to. But obviously, when I did my due diligence, when I was on the grounds, I had other folks call, and they realized the number was a Google Voice number. So one thing, if they give you a number, just call it, check on it. I was sending texts to the number, but the only way to do it is actually call. But if somebody has a Google Voice number and they're not even willing to give you their phone number, that's suspect to me, because it's not like they're doing high volume transactions where they need to protect their phone number. They should just be comfortable to give you their personal number where you can just contact them if there's any issues, or even a business number. It doesn't matter. But the point is that you have a number where you feel like you can speak with them. Because that was the biggest thing. When you're dealing with email, there's a lot of things people can do to hide, but when you're speaking with somebody's voice, you can tell and you can clue in, and it's harder to mask what they're doing. So this is just my thoughts on what happened so far. Yeah, I was scammed, but Good news is didn't lose any money. All I lost was my time. I consider my time super valuable, so it was disheartening to me to lose that time. It was a Saturday, but luckily, you know what I mean, I was with a good person that was willing to wait with me until things turned around, until I got a hotel room and worked everything out. And the stay was actually great. It was actually a room that I wouldn't probably have booked, but I booked it because it was the only one available, and it turned out to be great. I would actually stay here again for sure, which is a plus side. I opened up to a new opportunity, but turned a bad thing into a really, really good thing. But otherwise, just word of warning for you folks to be careful out there, and just know that even if, like my situation is, I never thought I would get scammed because I had so many things in place, and in all intents and purposes, I kind of didn't get scammed, but I did in the fact that it wasn't the truth what this person was telling me. And they're continuing to perpetuate the lie. That's the funny thing. They haven't given up to try to convince me that no, they're busy. They sent me another email about how they're busy in a hospital, and some other excuses about how they have bad reception, and every excuse in the book just to not get on the phone with you. So that's a lot of red flags there. I know I'm dealing with a private owner here, so it's not like I'm dealing with a corporation where there's layers that have to get through. So with that, I hope you take heed to what I'm saying here, and it's some great advice for you to help you when doing this, because renting a timeshare is a great thing. You get the benefits of using the timeshare without having to deal with everything. And that's what I suggest if you do timeshares, because there are some good ones out there. I just want to end with, like, 90% of them, timeshares, diamond resorts, etc., they're bad. They lie and they lie and they lie. So just be careful of that. But to be able to rent at one that's legitimate is pretty awesome. It's a great experience, and you can be able to negotiate with the person, because typically they hate paying that maintenance fee every year, or they have a balance on it and they want to do anything they can do to chip away at the amount of money they have to pay year after year after year. So this is Timeshare Travis. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.